Hi readers, this is Ms. Puzio, and in today's student-facing lesson, we are going to be focusing on what does it take to make a successful invention. We are in Module 8, Lesson 13. So for today's lesson, we are going to determine the meaning of grade-level academic vocabulary with Latin roots. We are going to be engaging in some word study, which is to determine the meaning of grade-level academic vocabulary with Latin roots. So let's warm up. We have learned that words have parts. The word parts we have learned about are prefixes, which come before a root word, and suffixes, which come at the end. We have also learned about the special kind of word part that we call a root. And one way I like to remember it is I think of like the root of a plant as the main part of a plant, and you might like to think of it as the main part of a word. So let's use this chart to review Latin roots. Latin roots are word parts that come from the Latin language. So we're going to be discussing some Latin roots, and that's a basic word part, usually from Greek or Latin, that carries meaning. So we're going to be focusing on a few different Latin roots. So today we're going to review a Latin root we have learned about before, which is vis, and learn about a new one, mem, which means to remember. So we're going to use this chart and learn and check out some examples. So first, let's explore. We have vis, mem, and sent. So once again, a root is a basic part that carries meaning. The root vis means to see. The root mem means to remember, and the root sent means 100. So let's select each root to learn a little more. Vis means to see. Visibility is the ability to see or be seen. The clear water gave the scuba diver good visibility of the sea life in the reef. So we know that if the root is vis, we know that the word has to do with seeing. Then we have mem, which means to remember. Memory, something that is remembered. My favorite memory is putting puzzles together with my parents. So if you see that root, you know that the word has to do with something to do with remembering. Then we have sent, which means 100. Ooh, we've seen these before. Centipede, a kind of small creature that is like an insect and has a long, thin, segmented body that can have over 100 pairs of legs. The centipede in our garden has many, many legs. So you know if you see cent inside of a word, it has to do with 100. So let's make some new words. We have visionary, which becomes visionary. And that is a person who sees ideas clearly and may have ideas about what can happen in the future. A visionary, they could see things really clearly. Then we have memorize, and that becomes memorize. To learn something well and remember it perfectly. If you can memorize something, you know it perfectly and you can recite it. Then we have century, a period of 100 years. So cent plus uri becomes century. Let's check. We did it. All right, let's keep going. So we're going to practice using the new words. And before we do that, I just want to take a look at the chart. So vis means to see. So we have visionary, visitation, right? When you go to visit someone, you go to see them. Visibility, how clearly something can be seen. We have mem, which is to remember. So if something is memorable, you're able to remember it. If you can remember something, you have that memory and you can recall it. And then memorabilia. It's items that you can remember or items that mean something to you in your memory. So your family might have memorabilia from a favorite sports team. They might have memorabilia from something that they really enjoy. And it's stuff that helps them remember that time in their life that was really important to them or was special to them. So let's practice using the new words. Select the best answer. Our school building was built over a blank ago. It's more than 100 years old. So built over a centipede ago or a century ago. Pause the video and let's see if you get it correct. The correct answer is century. That means a period of 100 years. The root cent means 100, and the word century means 100 years. So let's complete the sentence here. Our teacher asked us to blank the words to our school song. She wanted us to perform it at the school concert. To memorize or memory the words. Which word means that you can practice something and remember it perfectly? Pause, and then we'll see if you're correct. So, the correct answer is memorize. Your memory is something that you have, but memorize is an actual verb. It's an action word. To memorize something is to remember all of it perfectly. Then finally, which word completes the sentence? Thomas Edison invented technology that we still use today. He was a true visibility or visionary. Now remember what visibility and visionary mean. You can always pause and go back to the meanings. So let's pause now and see if you get it correct. So the correct answer is a visionary. It's someone who can kind of see things, not really into the future, but they have a really good thoughts and really good ideas, and they can see things pretty clearly. So let's check. He was a visionary because he could see ideas clearly and what could help in the future. So now we're going to work on your own. Okay, you want to try and use some of these words in a sentence. And then we're going to go back and you're going to go to the check for understanding. And what I want you to do is I want you to use all of the resources and the help video I just gave you to complete your check for understanding. So I would like you to do this independently. And then if your teacher posted it for you, you can submit it. Or if you want to hold on, we can see if you want to do it now, and then we'll see if your answers are correct. So let's look at the word bank. Revisit, memory, and memo. So look at the root words here. Here we have viz. So this we know this has to do with seeing or visionary or visibility, like similar to that. Okay, then we have memory. So it has mem in there, which we know means to remember. So think of memorabilia, memorize. And then we have memo, which is the same thing, right? The same root. So let's take a look at the sentences. When we blank the beach, maybe we'll find some seashells we missed the first time. So when we revisit the beach, when we memory the beach, when we memo the beach. Remember, the prefix re means to do again. Number 2, I wrote a blank to myself so I wouldn't forget to return the library books. Right, so not forgetting, those are some context clues there that are going to help you. What would you write to yourself so that you wouldn't forget something? A memory or a memo? If you had a bad blank for names, think of little tricks to help you, such as this person is great, her name is Kate. If you have a bad what? What would you have that could be not so good that would make you forget things? So complete this check for understanding and submit it, and let's see how you do. And remember, you can always go back to everything that we just did to look at what the root words mean, to look at what examples they could be used in sentences, and those things are going to be there to help and support you with these Latin roots. And then when you're reading, I want you to see if you can notice any of these roots in your passage.